Lok Sabha, Aishwarya Paliwal covering these latest developments joins me on the broadcast. So Aishwarya, the division currently underway on amendments. What more can you tell us?
Well, Gaurav, one thing is pretty clear, and that is what the BJP also was maintaining from day one. And the fact is that they do have the numbers, and we can clearly see that. One of the intriguing things and the interesting things that we can very clearly see here is the Shiv Sena UBT at the moment is someone that is not participating in this voting, and that is exactly what Kiran Rijiju had also said. He had got up and he had asked a very specific question to Arvind Samant that you need to tell us whether you are for the bill or you are against the bill. So that is something which is very interesting, which we are looking here at the moment from what we understand. If we speak about the ayes, 226, that's what we can see at the moment, the noes 163. So the gap is huge. And this is exactly what the BJP was also saying. We also saw, Gaurav, how both the TDP and the JDU, both of them also had very clearly said that they are supporting the government in the bill and they will go till the last point. And this is very pretty evident and clear in the voting that is taking place at the moment.
As far as the government and the opposition are concerned, the battle lines are very clearly drawn. While we noticed 226 in favor and 163, I think, as you pointed out, against, there are several members who are also, it seems, handing out slips. So they will also now be counted, and that is why for that final figure, we will have to wait. And this is right now on various amendments that have been suggested by members. For example, Asaduddin Owaisi himself said that he's suggesting 10. But do we have a breakup of whose amendments are taken up when?
We will see, the final numbers coming out in at least the next 10 to 15 minutes. And yes, you rightly pointed out, it was Asaduddin Owaisi who said that he would like to move at least 10 amendments. So that's something that Asaduddin Owaisi has been speaking about. And let me also tell you one of the things. We also saw how the Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav also got up and spoke about it, but he spoke very little about the Waqf and spoke about what's happening in Uttar Pradesh at large. So we are seeing how some of the opposition leaders have skirted through the issue, have spoken a little about the Waqf issue, but spoke about other issues as well. The person who actually spoke about it in detail was Asaduddin Owaisi, and he's the one who's now moved 10 amendments. At the moment, what we are seeing, Gaurav, the voting taking place with regards to the amendments, we will get a clear picture in about 20 minutes from now. But if we speak about the numbers, it is the BJP and the allies and the other parties which are supporting the bill. The numbers clearly stacked in their favor. And this is something, Gaurav, which we will see tomorrow in Rajya Sabha playing out as well.
Midnight voting currently underway, and Aishwarya, initially they decided that this discussion will go on for 8 hours. So from 12 noon till 8, then extended to 10, then 11:30. It's well past midnight. Discussions happened till the end, but neither side yielded to the other. They kept making those points. Ultimately, Kiran Rijiju had to say that if somebody is unwilling to understand, there's nothing that can be done about it, but then leave it to the people and perhaps those Muslim women and children who end up becoming beneficiaries. They will thank the Prime Minister for finally this thing coming up. But as you rightly pointed out, Asaduddin Owaisi continued to say till the end, Muslims are being marginalized and being made second-class citizens in India.
Well, that is what Asaduddin Owaisi, Gaurav, has been maintaining from day one. He has been saying that this bill will actually do no good to the Muslims, and has also been saying that there has been one hand distance that the BJP and the central government has kept with the Muslims, and that is what will happen. He also spoke about the fact that the BJP has been maintaining that an upliftment of all the Muslims will happen, because BJP says that there is a certain section in Muslims, they are the ones who have been milking money, minting money through the Waqf. So that is something that they want to do away with. Also, very clearly, the BJP has been saying that, like the triple talaq, like the removal of Article 370, this bill also has been brought in so that community upliftment can happen. And with the numbers, Gaurav, we are seeing the eyes and the nose playing out in front of our eyes at the moment. It seems like it will be a smooth sailing, and a similar smooth sailing we will see in Rajya Sabha. Also, the BJP believes that going forward, this actually will make sure that the lower strata will actually get benefit. They will get the money out of it, and the kind of Waqf properties that have been claimed, those are the things that the BJP now wants to make sure that in future, going forward, those kind of things should not happen.
all the amendments that have been, suggested by opposition leaders, by others, the points that have already been accommodated, and Jagdambika Pal as chairman of the JPC on the Waqf Amendment Bill, he said all the amendments that had been suggested in the JPC were all accepted, detailed discussions, multiple meetings, and he gave out those details of the 123 properties that were ultimately denotified just before the run-up, in the run-up to the 2014 elections. Now, this is where it would appear that there was something amiss with those 123 properties being denotified, and he says take it back to 1911 when the capital of the British Raj shifted to Delhi. That's the time that these properties were notified and denotified only by the Congress government in 2014. So does that put the Congress on a sticky wicket?
Well, that definitely puts the Congress. And one of the things, Gaurav, that a lot of people have been speaking about, we did hear Gaurav Gogoi speak, but Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, the top guns of the Congress party, were mum on this. Why did the Gandhi family not speak on it? Why did Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi not speak on it? That's a question that even the BJP has been asking. Gaurav Gogoi obviously spoke a lot about it, Gaurav. But yes, the Gandhis, silence of the Gandhis, and also the way in which all the other opposition parties were hoping for the Congress party to come out and to say that they are against it, that kind of force, Gaurav, we did not see. So that's also something that the BJP has been pointing fingers at. And in fact, Kiran Rijiju, while he was speaking in the end, also said that it was Indira Gandhi, it was Jawaharlal Nehru, they were the ones who spoke about minorities. All that we are doing is carrying forward what the Nehru said and what the Gandhi family has been saying. The Congress has abandoned what their forefathers used to speak about the minorities. The BJP has not done that. The BJP till now maintaining that they are working to make sure that everyone gets a piece of it. And that's what we are now also seeing. The division of the votes, Gaurav, at the moment taking place. We will get a clear picture in the next 15 minutes. But yes, the numbers, at the moment, the picture looks like the numbers are stacked in the favor of the NDA and the central government.
Okay, and has there been an explanation? Of course, we saw a social media post by Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha on social media platform X. He put out a post opposing the Waqf Amendment Bill, hitting out at the BJP and the RSS, calling it divisive, calling it anti-constitution. But why didn't he lead the charge? Why was that left to Deputy Leader in Lok Sabha, Gaurav Gogoi? Is there any explanation from the Congress off or on record?
Nothing at the moment, Gaurav. And from what I understand at the moment, we will not see any kind of explanation coming in. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was not even seen in the parliament today. Rahul Gandhi, of course, is sitting. The voting is taking place. But yes, questions definitely are being raised. A lot of people are also saying, being the leader of the opposition, it was on Rahul Gandhi to speak about this, at least give in his two bits. But the Congress party very, very clearly maintaining that they decided it will be Gaurav Gogoi who will speak on the behalf of the Congress. And we also saw how the other opposition leaders, barring Asaduddin Owaisi, we saw how the other leaders also just touched a little about Waqf, did not go into the details, except Asaduddin Owaisi. He's the one who spoke about the bill in details. And the BJP also has been maintaining that you don't have any loopholes to talk about. And that's the reason, one after the other, the opposition leaders got up. They just barely touched upon Waqf, spoke a little about it and said that this will harm Muslims in India, but did not go into the details. The BJP said that once you read the bill, you will understand that this is not against the Muslims. This actually will make sure that the kind of properties that the Waqf has been claiming, looking at that is stopped in future. And the court cases, those cases are reduced and an upliftment of Muslims across the country takes place. So this is what the BJP has been saying, also giving examples of Article 370 and saying that the triple talaq was also something that the Muslims were against. But look at how well it has done and how well it has been received. And we also saw how the images that came in different parts of India. We saw the children out on the streets, distributing sweets, the women being happy. So those are the things that the BJP at the moment is looking at, and the opposition also. The BJP also was, let me tell you, Gaurav was expecting
Stay
that
with me, Aishwarya. I want to quickly cut across and bring in Piyush Mishra into this conversation. And as we wait for the division of votes, for the numbers to come up on the screen, for manual voting votes to be counted, Piyush, bring us the latest. What's happening in Parliament? What's the buzz on ground?
Well, Gaurav, as you are speaking, the slips are being distributed among all the members of parliament because a couple of minutes back, voting happened on the amendment which was sought by few opposition political parties. In fact, TMC's Kalyan Banerjee and Asadun Owaisi, they have sought voting on division on the amendments which they had put forth on this bill. Now, what we are told is that the voting via electronic mode took place, but it seems like the Lok Sabha Speaker is not happy with the kind of numbers those have come, because the total tally is telling us that only 300 MPs are present, but we can see that the entire house is full. All the MPs of all political parties, they are present from opposition side also. We are now seeing a large number of MPs are present from the NDA side also, from the ruling government also. Almost all MPs of all political parties are present. So looking at the numbers, those were being reported lesser than the number of MPs who are present. We are now given to understand is that the voting is likely to take place using the slips, and as we are speaking, the slips are being distributed among all the MPs, and after the slip, the job of the work of distributing slips comes to an end. We can expect the voting to take place again. And after the voting on amendments, so that we sought by the opposition, we can expect the voting process to follow in the similar fashion where the voting will take place using the slips. So as of now, the bill is the voting on bill is not taking place. Only the voting on amendments, so that we sought by the opposition is taking place. And after this process comes to an end, the Lok Sabha Speaker is likely to seek for the voting on this particular bill. Remember that the government yesterday in the Business Advisory Committee had agreed for having discussion for 8 hours, but now this discussion has concluded in more than 12 hours. The discussion began at around 12:16 p.m. today, and it ended at around 12:05. So almost 12 hours of discussion has taken place on the Waqf Amendment Bill. And after this thorough discussion and the reply of Union Minister for Minority Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, voting process, which means the process of passing this bill from Lok Sabha has officially begun, and there are some steps those are to be followed. So after the thorough discussion, whenever the bill is tabled for passing and for passing, at the time the opposition can seek amendments or they can ask for the division of votes, and the initial process of passing the bill is taking place with the amendments those were sought and division of votes that were sought by the opposition. On that particular thing, the voting is taking place, and after this voting comes to an end, we can expect the another process, which means the voting for passing the bill from Lok Sabha to take place. So we can expect another 2 to 3 hours. That's what is also being said that could take place, because there are multiple amendments which opposition is likely to move. Asadun Owaisi himself explained that he is going to move around 12 amendments. There are other amendments also from other opposition political parties. Congress, Samajwadi Party, in fact TMC and others also have their amendments. So on all these amendments, they can ask for division of votes, and then if that happens physically via slip, then certainly it is going to take a lot of time. And finally, after the voting on all these amendments and consideration, we can expect the full official and final voting on passing of a bill to take place, which means that a lengthy process has to be followed. And after the bill gets passed from Lok Sabha, it will be brought in Rajya Sabha tomorrow, and most likely tomorrow also it's going to be a lengthy day. And after a thorough discussion in Rajya Sabha also, the bill will be passed. And if this happens tomorrow itself from Rajya Sabha, then this bill will be sent to President, and then in a couple of days we can expect the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 taking the shape of a law.
Well, it is going through its motions, and as you point out, it's likely to be a long, drawn process. Okay, are we getting a word from the speaker? No, not as yet. Okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. So when that voting took place, the numbers that came up, apparently all numbers did not reflect effectively. There seems to be an issue with that. As you can notice, there are about 500 plus members here, only 300 plus, it seems, their votes were recorded. So now that entire process is happening manually. So slips are being distributed. They will vote. Then those slips will be collected. Then those slips will be counted, votes counted, then declared. And this will happen, Piyush, on every amendment suggested by every member. So if we have to understand, just Asaduddin Owaisi has made 10 amendments. Do we have a list of how many amendments in all as of now? When then the voting takes place finally on the Waqf Amendment Bill before all these amendments are taken up?
Well, it's a lengthy process because there are multiple amendments. Those will be moved by the opposition political parties. And like you rightly pointed out, that on the floor of the House itself, OIC had made it very clear that he is going to move a lot of amendments because he had categorically said that this bill is against the Muslims. It's anti-constitutional. The government is trying to bulldoze this bill in the form of law. They are going to usurp the land of Muslims. And after the kind of amendments, Asaduddin Owaisi will move the other opposition parties also who are vehemently opposing this, including Congress, Samajwadi Party, TMC, UBT, Shiv Sena, NCP, Sharad Pawar. They all have their different amendments, and it's certainly going to take a lot of time because the voting is not taking place in electronic mode. Earlier, the voting, the announcement was basically made by Lok Sabha Secretary General that the voting could take place, electronically. But it seems like there is some sort of problem on that. And what we are told is that the voting is likely to take place using the slips. And if that happens, which means that it's going to take a lot of time, which means a lengthy process in coming few hours from now.
I also want to bring in Aishwarya into this conversation. Right from the word go, when Parliamentary Affairs Minister and Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju laid the bill, presented the bill for discussion in Lok Sabha, from that point till the end, this was an extremely fiery debate. 50 plus speakers, Aishwarya, 51 if I have the numbers correctly, and all of them had very strong points to make on either side of the debate.
Well, Gaurav, you are right. There were 51 speakers who spoke. And if you remember, this also was the JPC where we saw Kalyan Banerjee breaking that bottle and in the process harming himself. There was bleeding that was taking place from his hand. So we also saw how in the JPC also the opposition was very aggressive. But that kind of aggression, Gaurav, let me tell you, we did not see in the speeches. Gaurav Gogoi, yes, obviously spoke a lot. Kalyan Banerjee also spoke. Asaduddin Owaisi also spoke. Akhilesh Yadav also spoke a lot. And we saw that little banter taking place between Akhilesh Yadav on one side and the Home Minister Amit Shah on the other side. But also, not just specifically about the Waqf properties. We also saw how the opposition spoke about other issues as well. And if we speak about the numbers, the two parties that everyone was very closely looking at, JDU and TDP. TDP initially had said that they will look at what the Waqf Amendment Bill actually brings on the table. And let me also tell you, both the JDU and the TDP had certain tweaks that they wanted to be made. The BJP made sure that those tweaks are done. And that's the reason why we are now seeing the allies now fully supporting and standing behind the Waqf bill. The numbers are stacked in favor of the NDA. The voting, Gaurav, as we are speaking, is taking place. But yes, this was one of the JPCs where we are also seeing, this was the specific JPC where we are now seeing that the opposition now was very aggressive in the JPC. And from what we are also understanding at the moment, also some of the opposition MPs are in the well, Gaurav, as we are speaking. So the opposition being very aggressive about it. Some of them are also very keenly looking at some of the upcoming state elections. TMC specifically looking at Bengal. And that's the reason, one of the main reasons why we are seeing the TMC being against the bill. The opposition was very aggressive even during the JPC and was very aggressive as the leaders were speaking even today. Gaurav.
Okay, let's try and listen in. Is Speaker Om Birla saying something? Okay. Okay, but okay, we can't hear what's happening there. But Piyush, if we can just attempt to make out what's happening, the opposition appears to be extremely unhappy about something. They're on their feet. Several leaders in the opposition benches pointing angrily. It would appear towards the speaker and the treasury benches. And the treasury benches, you have some MPs who are again on their feet. They seem to be equally aggressive. But we can't make out the conversation from where we are, Piyush, can we?
Well, absolutely. There are some apprehensions, Gaurav, which the opposition is right now raising, and that is why we are also seeing them standing on their chairs and pointing fingers towards the Lok Sabha speaker. Remember that a couple of minutes back, the voting on division of votes, which was sought by the opposition, took place. But the voting process is taking a lot of time, and there are some things. Those are being raised by the opposition political parties, and that is why we can also see on the in the pictures that the opposition is pointing out at something. Though the work of distributing slips has completed, any minute from now we can expect Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to speak something, and the entire session. The process will go on mute. As of now, the entire process is mute, and that's why we are not able to hear or understand as to what is actually transpiring there inside the Lok Sabha. But we are looking at the mood there in Lok Sabha, opposition is certainly going to raise their voice, and they will certainly seek amendments on various clauses of this bill, and that is why it is taking a lot of time, which means a lengthy process likely to take place, and similar sort of process likely to take place tomorrow also in Rajya Sabha when this bill is brought for voting for discussion.
For discussion in Rajya Sabha tomorrow. In Lok Sabha, initially we were under the impression that in the first 8 hours, from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock, there would be a discussion and then we would know who stands where. It was expected that the BJP and the NDA had their numbers 293. The opposition was at 236. But Aishwarya, it would now appear with all of this is being done manually, if every amendment, the division takes place, every chit counted, every counted manually, we could be here through the night and perhaps till beyond dawn.
That is something that everyone is very keenly looking at from what we are understanding, at least the next half an hour. That is for sure. That's the time when we will see, because at the moment the voting is taking place on all the amendments that have been called, and then we will see the final voting taking place. And that's the reason why, Gaurav, let me tell you, at about 8 p.m., there was an announcement that was being made that all the MPs, all of them, those who want to go and have dinner can actually go and have dinner. And whips were also being issued, Gaurav. Almost all the parties have now issued a whip for today as well as for tomorrow. So we are seeing how closely the parties were also looking at it and how serious this entire issue is. All the major parties, all of them, big or small, all of them had issued a whip. All the members are present in the house at the moment. And it's not just a whip for today. Tomorrow, the Rajya Sabha will see a repeat of the entire exercise. Kiran Rijiju, in fact, had said that on the 4th, that's the last day. Before that, they will make sure that they pass the bill both in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha. So that's something that at the moment is taking place. The voting, as you rightly pointed out, we are seeing how some of the opposition leaders stood up on the chair and see this kind of electronic voting we have seen earlier also. There have been some times when some of the MPs do not actually understand what to do, and then they are being asked to do it again. So that this entire process takes time, at least half an hour to 45 minutes, Gaurav. That's what we are looking at. But yes, it seems like the way things are going, let me tell you, it seems like at the moment,